All right, guys, Chargers Weekly on location at the Senior Bowl, Mobile, Alabama. Please be joined by General Manager Tom Telesco. Tom, it's fun. We do this around this time every year. Senior Bowl gets bigger and bigger every year. We're just down in this lobby area. It looked like a football convention.
It is. It's a little bit of a convention for coaches and scouts, and not always in a good way because a lot of guys here are looking for jobs, which means they're out of work. But yeah, it has turned into that. I mean, this is got to be it's 20 plus years for me going to I guess 1995. So coming to the Senior Bowl, it's changed a lot.
What was 1995 Senior Bowl like?
Well, first of all, I think I was sharing a room with two other people, with a bunk in front of the bed. I mean, we go to practice. It was just NFL people. There's nobody else. It wasn't covered very much in the media at all. It wasn't nearly what it is now. I mean, the NFL Network coverage and
ESPN is here.
Yeah, I mean, it's grown exponentially over the years. It was a sleepy little All-Star game for us, but it was still the biggest game for us. I mean, it's always been the top seniors in the country. So it's always been the best All-Star game for us to see players, but it's turned into now where it's a huge event.
Yeah, it's almost the unofficial start to the draft evaluation process. I know you guys place a priority on the film, but if you could go into as much detail as possible, just take us through what this week is like for you and everybody on your staff.
Well, it's different for me than for the scouts. But the scouts really get in here on Sunday. It's really Kevin Kelly, JoJo Wooden, and the whole staff, and I mean, really, they'll talk to almost every prospect or every player that's here. So, whenever you see those reports that the Chargers talk to so-and-so, well, yeah, that's true.
It happened near Mobile, maybe?
But we talk to everybody. And that's where really every team does it. I mean, you talk to everybody here. Because for the scouts, a lot of these players, they couldn't talk to at the schools. You can go in, you can watch tape, you can watch practice. You can talk to coaches and support staff about the players, but usually you can't sit down one-on-one with players very often in the fall. And you shouldn't be able to. They're playing college football. They're busy between their football, their academics, their classes. They don't have time to be talking to NFL scouts at that point, which is fine. So this is one of these All-Star games is the first time where you can actually sit down with the kids and talk to them, get a feel for them a little bit as people. So we can get a feel for, do they fit for us or not? So they'll talk to every player that's here. We'll talk to them, some guys, again, at the Combine, where the coach is a little bit more involved there. But so a lot of the week is talking to the players. The players do some psychological testing here as well. And then the practices that we're all out watching Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And the practices are great because it's a high level of competition. It's a player practicing against another player who's going to be an NFL player.
Yeah.
You don't know what level yet, but that guy's an NFL player. So when you have one-on-ones, it's good competition. It's good evaluation for us. And very rarely does anybody stay for the game. I think every now and then we'll leave one guy back to stay to watch the game.
The practices are the meat of the week, right?
The practices are the meat of the week. We get all the film from practice. So we'll go back and we'll go through it all over again, because when you're at practice, there's multiple things going on at once. You may be watching 7-on-7 over here, and then you got one-on-ones, O-line, D-line over here. You can't watch both in the live practice, but it's all on tape for us to go back and watch it and kind of analyze it. But it's a great evaluation tool for us, not only to watch them play football, but to kind of meet them as kids.
We've talked about the whole Senior Bowl process the last couple of years, and I know it's probably a coincidence, but the last 3 years, there are numbers. 12 guys, contributors, guys who you expect to be starters or playing a lot of snaps for you, are on your roster, dating back to 2017. I go back to Desmond King, Dan Feeney, Uchenna Nwosu, Rayshawn Jenkins, Drew Tranquil last year.
It's funny you say that because I forget, through the whole process, during the fall, the All-Star games, the Combine, I kind of lose track of who played what All-Star games because we don't really draft guys based on, hey, were you in the Senior Bowl, were you in the East-West game, the NFLPA game. So it's funny you mentioned those names. I'm like, yep. I remember seeing all those guys here.
Michael Badgley, Cole Mazza. I mean, there's a lot of guys.
Cole Mazza was in the Senior Bowl?
He was in the Senior Bowl. He was a long snapper.
That I don't remember.
Yeah, he was here.
Okay.
But I guess the point is you have guys who played 4 years in college, maybe largely leaders or captains, guys who mean a lot to their respective programs. And just looking at the Chargers locker room, a lot of guys of high character who have played a lot of snaps in college. It's probably no coincidence that they play in this game here.
Well, you figure if you're in the Senior Bowl, you were a 4-year college player. You didn't leave college early. So most of the players that are here, full 4 years of playing in college, probably 21, 22 years old, probably a little more mature than a junior who declares early. So yeah, some of the players that you get here, they've been multi-year captains at their colleges. So these guys are going to be a little bit older, a little bit more mature than a junior that declares early.
Yeah. Characteristics of guys you look for. Name a few chief characteristics that you want in a Charger.
Well, one, you have to love to play the game. This is a hard game. I mean, it's hard. Practice is hard. The games are tough. There's a lot of scrutiny. There's a lot of pressure to perform. So you really have to love to play. I mean, this is an easy example, but when you watch Derwin James practice, you can tell how much he loves to play the game of football. I mean, he's got a smile on his face. Now, he practices hard. He practices with an edge, but man, he's having a good time doing it. And that rubs off on people, but you really have to love to play. So we talk about that. Having that drive to succeed is really important. And then, football intelligence is really important. This is a very complicated game, especially when you get to the pro level on offense and defense. And you have to be able to learn concepts, pick them up relatively quickly, and then process them in game speed. And that's hard to do. It's hard to scout. It's hard to determine that many times. So, and that's all the work we have to do kind of behind the scenes and try and see, who loves the game. And find examples how. It's one thing to say, oh, yeah, he loves to play. Well, tell me why, how. I need an example. Demonstrate that for me. So same thing with the drive to be better, the drive to win. Again, it's easy to say that stuff, but, I want examples. I just don't want words. So, but like I said, when you watch Derwin James practice and play, that's the kind of enthusiasm for playing the game. And by the way, he takes that into the weight room. He takes that in the meeting rooms.
He's the blueprint.
Yes, he's the blueprint. Now, they're not all like that, but everyone has different personalities. But if you can have those characteristics, you got a chance to succeed.